another edition of the Colorado Conversation. My name is Ken Clark. Thanks for joining us today. We have a special guest in the studio. His name's Greg Sakowicz. Interesting story. We've known Greg for years. He used to work here a long time ago. He's moved on to bigger and better things, and now you're famous online and on the internet. And it's good to see you. Thanks for being here.
It's great to see you. Thanks for having me, Ken. It's weird to be back. It's been so long.
It's funny. We were walking in. I go, "Do you want to take the tour?" He's like, "Nah, I've already been here, done that. I built half of this place."
Exactly.
Because you were gone about 6 years.
About 6 years ago. Yep.
And since 6 years ago to now, hundreds of thousands of followers.
Yes.
Just shy of 200,000, correct?
Yeah, 165, somewhere in that
around
range.
there.
Yeah.
If you're familiar, you're like, "Hey, that's Fat Man Little Trail."
I am fat and I hike a lot, so it felt like a fitting name.
It felt like a fit. Now, when I told my wife, I was like, "Hey," and she goes, like, "You can't say that." I'm like, "I didn't name it. He named it."
Exactly.
But it came from a wholesome place.
It's more of a descriptor than it is of, like, I'm fat. That's who I am. It's not a big thing. I'm not worried about it. And I try to take away that the negativity of that, because a lot of people don't go outside because they're like, "Oh, I'm too fat to hike."
Yeah.
No, you can go do it.
Go do it. And that's
Exactly.
exactly what happened. And if you read online, it all started with an injury. And it was the injury that you had here last time I saw you. Again, we were talking on the way in. Your arm was in a sling.
Yep, I had to have 4 surgeries on my shoulders, so I couldn't do any of the, I couldn't go shoot a basketball, I couldn't play golf, couldn't do any of the other hobbies. So I was like, "Hey, what is hiking?" So I started to hike, along with some other stuff got me into hiking, but like that became the hobby that I could do and fell in love with it and have been doing it ever since.
It's funny, online you state how you take all your pictures with your Samsung Galaxy.
I do.
You're out there doing these things. Do you remember the first trail that you took and you were like, "I wonder if somebody else was it your idea to launch the website? Was it somebody else's idea?"
So it all started, it was during the pandemic. So everything's locked down. I live downtown, tiny apartment. It's great. I can walk to everything. But when everything's shut down, I'm just in this tiny little apartment. And I was like, well, I should try hiking. I lived here 10 years, never really hiked at all, and thought I'd give it a shot. So I'm out there and I'm hiking on, it was a trail over in Conifer, and I'm just dying. I'm falling over. I'm like, I'm sitting on a log, and like I hike the same trail now, and I just laugh at myself. But I'm like sitting on a log, and these 2 kids come running by me, and they've got like Crocs on and Capri Suns, and they're just like 5 and 8, and they're like jogging up this trail like it's nothing. And I'm sitting there just sweating, breathing hard. I'm like, man, I'm just a fat man on this little trail. I was like, that's a good name. So I text my cousin. I was like, I wanted to get into new media because, I worked in television. I wanted to get into new media. And I text her, is this a good name? She goes, yep. Right then and there, I went home, started the website, created the Fat Man Little Trail brand. And it moved slowly for a long time and then finally picked up a little bit.
And it kind of broke through the noise of everything else online, and hiking here in Colorado is huge. And a lot of times you can't really find out good details about a hike unless you take it, and then it's too late.
Well, that and a lot of the blogs that were out there were all, ultra marathoners who were like, I hiked this hike and I ran it in 4 minutes. I'm like, cool. What did normal people do? Yeah. What did older people do? What did, overweight people? I call them unlikely hikers. The ones that just want to go out and have fun. Was that a good hike for them? Mm-hmm. Or was it something that, you're only going to be able to do if you're 22 and in great shape? So I wanted to kind of get that out there to the public that you can, as an unlikely person, go out and actually enjoy nature for what it is just a place to go spend time.
Interesting. So, and the TV background kind of gave you an idea of what it should look like, if you're going to film something or talk about something. And if everything during COVID was all hand shot or on a selfie stick, so everybody was doing that. And it feels to me like it was almost like a natural transition for you.
A little bit, but for the first year, I think, I didn't put myself on camera at all. Like, it was all just writing about the trail and then doing, pictures of nature, because it's hard to take a bad picture of nature,
True.
Especially in Colorado. It's so beautiful. It's like, oh, there's a mountain. Click,
Great shot.
Compared to my face, like, people are going to want to look at the mountain. So it took me a while to say, like, hey, I'm going to change this and go in front of the camera and tell and talk more. It was more just like kind of appreciating nature and what's out there, and that does get a little bit lost in the noise. You have to have something that kind of fills that gap,
like a hook.
Yeah, exactly, like a hook. So my name was already Fat Man Little Trail, and then I just started showing my personality more and I tell a lot of, dad jokes when I'm about hiking, and a lot of like, oh my gosh, like what it's like out there, and I don't sugarcoat anything. They say like social media is the best of everyone, and I'm like, no, this is just me. Like, why fake it? Like, I'm struggling to get up this hill. You will too, but it's fine because look at the view afterwards.
Well, and it's got to be easier to be you out on the trail. You can't fake it with that much video out there. People can see through that.
Absolutely.
They just know something ain't right. It's pretty impressive. How did it go from the idea to where it is now? I mean, because that's a long run, and then all of a sudden you're making money, and companies are spotting you, and so like take me back to, I mean, yeah, you emailed your cousin and you're like, hey, and they were like, yeah. Well, what did it take to get from just an idea with a few followers and posts to now just like this behemoth?
Well, it helps that my cousin is the CEO of all of the outdoors in the world. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I think what it takes most is consistency and authenticity. Like, it seems simple, but the internet is a real not authentic place all the time. There's always an algorithm. There's always something, and people always change what they're doing to try to catch the newest fad or the newest craze. And I never did. I kind of just stuck to who I was, and I post every day pretty much. I put stories out there that I think people can relate to. So I don't change and go dance to some silly TikTok trend or I just hike and tell my story, and I think that becomes more and more relatable to people and the longer they go. So that also is why I think brands started to reach out to me, is they said, hey, this is somebody who people relate to that goes out there, because not everyone is the model that we have on our pages. There's a lot of people out there that are just hiking for enjoyment on the weekends. They're weekend warriors. And it turned into like, now I am a model on those pages, like Osprey came out with a plus size line of backpacks, and I was the male model. So if you go onto they've got new people now, but like the first launch of it, the first 8 backpacks, I think it's me modeling them on the website, which, if you're a short, fat guy in life, you're like, modeling is the next step. That's where I'm bound to go.
It's obvious. It's how a lot of people got there.
Exactly, But I think it showed like there was also a part of the world, like during that 2021 to 2023, where people were more about it was more accepting to brands went with plus size gear. People were like, oh, I'm not getting out. I'm not exercising as much, so I'm gaining some weight. So it like became a popular thing, but now it's all kind of switching back.
Uh-oh.
And the GLP-1s and everybody's trying to be like ultra skinny now. And I'm just like, no, there's still people out there that just want to go outside and enjoy life. And I like to eat, so I eat. One of my big things is I always find a locally owned restaurant near each trailhead, because I think support local when you're up in these small towns. So again, it's just sticking to that authenticity and making sure that you stay who you are on the internet, even though the internet doesn't want you to be who you are.
It pushes you another way. It's
Exactly.
an interesting story. Greg, we're going to take a quick break. It's Fat Man Little Trail behind the scenes here with Greg Sakowicz here on A Colorado Conversation. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Colorado Conversation. Special day today. We're joined with Greg Sakowicz. He was the founder of Fat Man Little Trail that now has 160-some thousand followers and continues to gain in popularity. Right before the break, we're talking about how you stayed authentic online and everything else, and then you were a model for Osprey, which is pretty awesome. Did you feel like you were being punked when they called?
Pretty much, yeah. I was like, you mean me?
You need to send me some confirmation that this is the real deal.
Exactly.
Because when you're working in TV, sometimes the engineers don't want to be on camera. You're like, listen, I'm here to fix the stuff, not to be in front of the stuff.
And I think that's what people don't like. When I tell people I used to work in TV, they're all like, oh, were you a reporter? No, I was like, I sat in the back and made sure all the buttons worked, and did all of that. So it was never my thing to really be in front of the camera until recently. Yeah.
Do you get, because now that you're out there, not all the feedback is positive.
No, I think I don't get it. I don't get it as bad as a lot of people do, because my name is Fat Man. People are like, trolls on the internet would say, "Hey, you're fat." Okay, cool. It's in my name. Like they have to think of like the next level of insult, so they don't do it very well. I do know that there's some horrible people out there, but there's some very bad comments I have gotten, but for the most part, I keep it light, and the comments are usually pretty light. A lot of people confessing their love for me, which is nice. You know, you get that quite a bit.
Have you taken any love hikes?
No. Well, I didn't know they were dates, but it turns out a couple of the hikes I went on were dates. I was like, "Oh, cool! You want to go hike? I want to go hike too. Hiking's great."
And then there's that awkward pause at the end, and you're like,
"I'm like, man, what are you doing?" Like,
they're creeping in closer.
Right. Hike's over. Like, that's the trailhead. Let's go. No. Like, I've met some of my best friends right now from hiking, which is something I never did. You know, 10 years I lived here, I said, and I never really hiked. But then just getting into that community, I've met some of like my best friends to this day are people that I've met on the hiking trails and doing like volunteer stuff for the outdoors. And it's just it's a very different community than what I was used to. So
sure,
it's been different.
Tell me what it was like when you first started to get the sponsors, and what it takes to do the product research that these big outdoor companies want done.
Well, because I had like the journalism background, my website, I still do product reviews like all the time, and I'm writing a thorough 3,000 word review of every piece of gear that I get sent that I can hopefully have time to get to. It's been a lot of pieces of gear lately, so I'm trying to get through them all. And I think brands like that, I always put what I don't like, I put what I do like, and that is encouraging. You know, people don't trust 5-star reviews. And then like to do like brand deals and stuff like that on social media, which everybody's like, I want to be an influencer. I want, yeah. There's pros and cons to it. You know, there is definitely some money in it. It usually is a long time to get to that first one, and it can be a challenge. It can be great working with some of these brands. It can be a challenge working with some of them. A lot of the sales funnel is influencers should be bottom of the funnel instead of top of the funnel, which causes a little bit of a rift, because I feel like most influencers are telling people, hey, this is a product you may not have known about, where the brand wants, how many sales did you get from that product? I'm like, Well, we're on stage 1. So there's definitely like, it's a whole new business. It's a whole new mindset. And I have another job too, so it makes it harder to spend as much time as I want to be an internet celebrity. But
was it? Oh, I forgot.
Super famous internet celebrity.
Internet celebrity. They had to add celebrity. Was it difficult, that first negative review, where you, whatever it was, where you tried it out, you remember what it was? You're like, man, this sucks. This thing's terrible.
Yeah, so on negative reviews, I typically just reach back out to the company and say, hey, let's fix this product. And like there was one, and it was a pair of boots, and they put the eye-ring in the wrong spot. So every time you like walked on an incline, your shoelace would pop out of it. And it was like that's something. And I reached out to them, and they were like, hey, our developers didn't think about that. And they actually went back and they fixed the boot. And like, so I didn't write the review on the bad boot. They fixed it. They sent me the new boot, and I wrote the review on that. Wow. So there's, especially I think in the outdoor industry, it's a very small tight knit community. So I think they're actually interested in what we say about the product, as opposed to, and I don't mean to throw anybody under the bus, but like, let's say you're testing makeup, and there's a million different, brands of makeup out there.
Right.
They don't really care they just want to sell the product. But in the outdoors, they're like, hey, this person took this rain jacket out and there was it didn't seal. We're going to go fix that, and we're going to try it again. And that's been cool, is actually more so than like doing the social media stuff. I love working with the brands and making like their product a little bit better, or giving them my opinions on it and seeing like some of that stuff. Yeah. Some of that change. It's
if they would have only done that here. Take his opinions.
They never listen to me here, Ken.
I'm only looking because your old boss is in the studio over there, but we like him a lot anyway. He's a good guy. So what was your favorite piece of gear? Because I mean, and back to the gear point, some of this gear can save your life.
Yes.
Like when you need it, you need it. And so if the shoe's not working, what happens if the jacket doesn't work, or if the flashlight, or if your cooking stove doesn't fire?
One of my, like, the coolest thing I got to test was when I got a van for a couple weekends.
Like a van?
Like van life. So it was.
Was this, those guys out of Grand Junction?
No, it was different. It was a different group. But they gave me a van for a couple weekends to go test, and like that's just cool. Because why not? I had I tested some RV stuff the other day, which was nice. The coolest like individual product is a company has a headlamp that is actually voice activated. And I thought, who in the world needs a voice activated headlight? And then I went out to do some astrophotography, and like you turn off all the lights, you want to take a picture of the stars, and then you're like, coast on, and it turns on, and you're like, oh, okay, fix everything, and then coast off, and it turns off, and like you can, like, I'm like, who thinks of that stuff? It was pretty cool.
That's impressive. I remember, speaking of headlamps, I was up camping with my dad years and years ago, and I had one. And my dad's like, that's the most dumb thing I've ever seen, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I look over, he's got the mini mag light in his mouth, nice. And he's doing that, he's like, and he looks at me, and I'm like, really? Next time we go camping, he had a headlight.
They're amazing.
And I still have that same headlight. So it's those little things that kind of make a big difference. So when you're walking around, are you hiking here in Colorado? Have you explored out? Because online, there's only so many places to go here in Colorado, but the Rocky Mountains are huge.
Yeah, I've done about 100, I think I've reviewed 150 some hikes in Colorado, and then I'm up to 9 states now, I think that I've done, where I've been out to Oregon and some California, some Wyoming, New Mexico a lot, Arizona, Utah a lot. Wow. South Dakota I was just in recently, like Badlands area and things like that. So I try to get out as much as I can to other places as well.
Are you going to do any skiing, or is it straight up hiking?
No, in the winter I like to hike and snowshoe a little bit.
Wow.
It's too many people with skiing. I'm trying to avoid them.
Well, and it can lead to more problems because hiking is easier on your body.
Yeah.
To a point. I mean, obviously the going up and going down. Or do you use the poles?
I use one pole. My arm's still not to the point where I trust my bad arm, so I always have one hiking pole that I'm using to go up and down.
Does it really work?
They help.
2 poles to 1 pole? Because some people are like, I don't need that.
2 poles are better if you can use them, but they're really good on when you're going down, especially as you get to be our age, Ken, because it really helps with your braking so you don't hurt your knees as much.
Because it's not about how fast you go down. As if you made it down on your feet.
Exactly. A lot of people go down really fast, but they didn't mean to.
Right. We got a great first aid kit back at camp. All right, Greg, we're going to take another quick break. We'll wrap this up with Fat Man Little Trail here on a Colorado Conversation. And we're back with a Colorado Conversation. It's been a lot of fun today. I mean, you're making me excited to get back out there and go hike, but I don't have all the latest gear. We're with Greg Sakowitz. He was the founder of Fat Man Little Trail. And again, he's now sponsored. You were on Fox the other day. They did a broadcast from the top of Mount Blue Sky.
Yeah.
And there you were, sitting up there in all your gear, as cozy as a bug in a rug.
Everybody was freezing, and it was windy, and I had all the gear on because there's no bad weather, just bad gear,
Yeah, we were talking about it on the way up, too. So what's next?
I'm just keep expanding it. There's always the thing that's important to me is about once every couple weeks I get a letter from somebody that said, hey, I was on my couch and I didn't think I'd ever hike again, but I watched your stuff and now I'm out hiking. So to me, it's like there's always a chance to reach that next person. So I'm always out just trying to find the next trail. Gonna try to get maybe some European hiking in.
Really?
Yeah, I've never been, so maybe some East Coast hiking.
Does it change your outfit? Like if you're gonna hike in the Scottish Highlands, or are we gonna see you in a kilt?
Well, you may see the kilt, but you'll definitely see more rain gear than out in Colorado. That's the interesting part. Is Colorado, Oregon, when I hike there, like, it's so wet and everything's beautiful and green and all that, and then Colorado and everything's beautiful and brown, but it's dry. So it's like 2 very different ways to hike, and it's fun to see all of that.
Have you hooked up with anybody from the state, from any of these states on these hikes, and you were like, hey, I'm out here and I noticed this? Or have they reached out to you and be like, hey, if you're out hiking one of our trails and you notice something, let us know. Maybe there's something that they could fix.
A little bit. I did some volunteer work with like the Indian Peaks Wilderness Alliance. So I was out in the Indian Peaks a lot and helping to try to clean it up and do things like that. I haven't talked too much with like the trail management people, but
I did that back in high school. It's hard work. It's like a chain gang, and you have to build the water bars across the thing, and you're up there with a pickaxe, and it's hot, and you're wearing a construction hat. It's not easy work.
They do amazing work out here in Colorado, though.
It's got to be done.
There's so many trails that have people can go from the top of a 14er to a flat hike around a lake and everything in between. It's amazing what they do.
So online, there's a lot of pictures.
Right.
What is some of the best things you've seen outside? You've seen wildlife, I'm sure.
I have moose. I wanted to see my first moose until I saw it, and then I was like, they're huge. I don't need to see any more moose, especially.
Isn't it? How
that
far
close.
away was it?
I was not as far as I should have been. I was probably, I came around a corner and it was probably, I don't know, 20 yards away from me. And I was like, okay, that's enough.
Turns around and looks at you, has that thing under its neck, and you're like, wow, that's kind of weird looking.
Yeah.
And fascinating and terrifying all at the same time.
The coolest, another trip, I saw a moose and her calf, and the calf was actually like nursing. And like to see that in nature is really cool. But, not in Colorado, but sunrise over the Grand Canyon was amazing. Sunset over the Pacific Ocean on a hike was really amazing. Wow. Anything at like, mountains, 14,000 feet is great until it starts hailing. Then it's no fun.
Anything like Everest in the future? Any of these big professional hikes?
No,
that's a different kind of hike.
That's a different kind of hike, and they're very motivated people who do that. And I am not that motivated. Like I go out to nature to help my mental health, and I think that would just hurt it because I would have to be so pumped up and like so focused on that. And like I want to go out there to relax, and I want to go out there to get other people to come out and enjoy nature. I don't want to go out to set records.
Okay, so we're winding down here. People at home who have potentially the same idea, what's your advice?
My advice would be don't start too fast. A lot of people in Colorado are like, oh, I should go hike a 14er because that's what everyone talks about. You might hurt yourself. You might not enjoy it, and then you're never going to want to hike again. So go out and do a smaller hike. Do something that is around a lake if you like lakes, or something in the woods, something a lot easier because you don't want to hurt yourself that first go.
And then for everybody at home, we've only said it a million times, but the website is exactly like we've said.
FatmanLittleTrail.com and Fatman Little Trail on all the social medias as well.
There you have it. Greg, it's so nice to talk to you again. It was good seeing you too. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Colorado Conversation. Follow him online. You won't regret it because he's got great advice on the right gear to go attack these hikes as well.
Absolutely.
Until next time.